All right, Jackie. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here with me and telling us a little bit about your journey in the last 6 months and beyond. So I'm excited to get in here. So introduce yourself.
My name is Jacqueline. I go by Jackie, pronoun she, her. Been a member for, it's been 6 months. We joining member. Um, Join this process. Like,
All right. So let's jump into it because in your story, there's two chapters. There's the first chapter when you joined us as in-person member when we had the gym in Oakland.
mhm.
And then you joined again 6 months ago, now that we're fully virtual. So uh what was going on then and why'd you leave? Why'd you come back?
Ooh, taking me back. So when I joined the gym originally, I was going through it, man. My health wasn't too great. I wasn't eating enough. I was actually underweight. Um, I was finding my community. I don't know how much I should share, but at the time I literally just came out. Um, and so I was in a really weird space. And then I finally I was like entering tech, got this job, and it was hella stressful. I would say like I was not a pleasant person. I didn't feel good outside. I didn't feel good inside. Um, and I want to say I was at a bar, probably drinking, and and I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. Like I can't live like this. Like this is like really bad. I'm in really bad shape. This is not good. Like I'm like mentally not good. And they're like, well, let's. And I was like, at least I used to be so active. And they're like, well, why don't you go to the gym? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, that's a lot of pressure with the gym closed and doing all this stuff. It's like, well, there's like a gym for gay. They look like there's a gym for gay people. And I was like, what? And I emailed you, and I feel like you got back to me like right away. And you're like, we have I want to say it was like a 3 month like program. And I thought it was just gonna be like, I'll come in for classes. Man, it was like, no, we're gonna kind of set you up so that like you make it so like there's this big mystery. So it made you go to the classes. And then the first class was not even like a really workout. We talked about our diet. We talked about being in the right mindset. So it wasn't just like, oh, like here's some weights. It was like, we got to get your mind right. We got to get you feeding your body right so that yeah, like, the workout's part of it, but there's so many other components. And I want to say within a month, I was not drinking. I was just focused on the workouts. I was like, the way you broke down the diet was so easy to understand. I tried to do that on my own previously, and it just seemed too complicated and honestly made me anxious. But the way it was broken down, it was easy. And I think the reason I jumped so into it was like it was also this community. There's always events there. I made so many friends there, and I could come in like anyway, and I was always accepted. It was like, oh, everybody was always cool. It was like, and it changed me, like my perspective in that month. It really did. And so I was like going, and then unfortunately, the pandemic hit, and I was one of the people that got laid off. I remember sending that email, and it was like no pressure. And so, I went through that, and I literally, the diet you gave me, stayed with it all throughout the years. Like I just stayed with it. And so, I got back in track, and I was like, oh, I gotta get back to doing the gym. And I was talking to one of my friends. They're like, oh, the gym's gone. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, it's gone. So I was like, okay, I tried some other gyms. And I'm gonna be honest, and I've tried some, like, I'm talking about like I don't like high end to low, nothing compared to this program. It was, yeah, they taught me how to like the exercises, how to use equipment, but there was really no talk about like nutrition. It was mentioned, like, oh, that'd be good if you focus on that, but it was no accountability. Like I would go do a bunch of weights, work out real hard, and then I would go home and eat whatever. I wasn't and I wasn't seeing a lot of gains. I'm gonna be honest. Like it was like it didn't make sense. And I was just going through the emails, and I was like, okay, I gotta figure something out. And one of your emails popped up, and I was like, what the career just back? And then I'm like, no, it's been here. And that's when I, sent the email, and I was like, hey, I need help again. I need to get back into like I wasn't as bad as when you first saw me. But I kind of lost track like everyone else did during like the whole world pausing. Like I lost track of like the exercise. I wasn't walking. It was like literally I work from home. So it's sitting at my desk to going to the couch. And so I wasn't moving and I was like, I think when I realized I was not in great shape, I went on a hike with people much older than me. Some that could be my parent, and I couldn't keep up at all. And I was like, okay, I gotta get back.
Damn.
And I was a little hesitant, because it was virtual, and I was like, oh, I like the gym when I was like, oh, it's not gonna be the same, but I was like, at least I'll still get like, I really joined because of coaching, like the support and the nutrition that you're on it. And honestly, that first class won me over. I was like, because I'm this was I've never taken a virtual workout like class before ever, and I was like, oh, they're not gonna be able to see my form. It's not gonna really hit the same. So I was like, okay, I gotta find something to subsidize this, and then I literally, I know if I totally was just trying to plan out other things, and that literally that first workout, I was won over. I think it's the gym now is a better version. It was good before, but it's a better version than it was before. So I like rambled, but
I I appreciate you saying that. And I agree with you because believe it or not, I was the number one opponent of going online. Because I was like, we need a building, like it's not the same online. Like I had the same train of thought. And had it not been for COVID, I would have probably still been in that building in Oakland, which, has its pros, but really what sold me online was the fact that we could help more queers because I
Mhm.
wasn't only targeting people in Oakland. Like we had I remember COVID happening and having like queers in a fucking farm in Nebraska, you know? And you forget about the privilege you have as a queer in a more accepting city
Mhm.
and seeing how many more people we could help, the types of situations that those queers were in, and still being able to form that community and still be able to give results. And I actually remember like the first 6 weeks of COVID, I remember teaching a class and just looking around and everybody looked swole. Like everybody was just like, y'all been starting protein? Like, what are y'all doing? And they're just like, it's just so much easier because I don't have to deal with traffic. I don't have to worry about,
Yep.
getting there, the commute, I can just like roll out of bed and do it. And so the convenience was a big one. The becoming more accessible to queers all across the country in shittier situations and then people
Mhm.
who live in accepting inclusive cities. I was like, well, goddamn. And at that point, our lease was up. And I was like, fuck, I think I'm a believer. I think we're going online.
That's another biggie where I'm like, how I wish I found out earlier, because honestly, what also was keeping me from going to the gym was the commute. It's a lot going back and forth, and honestly, sometimes yeah, work ends, and then it's like, okay, I gotta get ready. I can literally just hop on Zoom from home. It's that
Yeah.
convenience, and that's why my attendance is like, because it's I really, unless I haven't had a cold in a while, but unless I'm like super super sick, it's really easy.
Yeah, I mean, I love going to the gym, but I know if I go to the gym for a workout, it's going to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
part of that's that
Yeah,
yeah.
half of it is as like, changing, getting there, getting situated, doing the workout, finishing it, and then getting my shit, coming back home, showering. Like it's a whole thing.
Hmm.
It's a whole thing. So you've absolutely been crushing it. Let's talk about that. So just just to flex a little bit, brag a little bit, you went from 0 steps sitting on your ass working from home all day long.
Yeah. It was under 1,000. I like just based on the phone. Like I didn't have any tracking. I That's when you're like, it was 3,000. I was like, on a good day, maybe.
Damn. Okay, so from no steps to now you're averaging 10,000.
Hmm.
You can do a pull up. I know that was the original big goal.
Yeah.
And you've been averaging consistently 3 workouts a week for the past 6 months that you rejoined.
Hmm.
So what do those wins mean for you personally?
Oh man, I feel better. Like just physically, I feel better. It's also nice. I'm gonna do a little brag. I also was told someone complimented my arms recently, and it got to my head a little bit. I was like, yeah, and not even the pull up. My like, I don't know if you remember, I couldn't do a toe push up either. And it's funny because you like highlighted me. I was like, we when we were doing our monthly, we do our check-ins and on we had a class and I was like kind of behind. I was like, let me go do my push-ups. And I could bang those out. And to be able to do that, like I shocked myself because like, oh crap, I can do like 10 push-ups, full good form push-ups. I didn't realize I could do that. We both realized it together that class. Cause like, I was just like, oh, we're running out of time. Let me rush and, get these push-ups out. And yeah, I think I end up doing, I want to say 14. And I thought I could do like five solid good push-ups. So that shocked me. Um and this is a lot to the gym and credit to you. I was going into the gym with a trainer with weights and I didn't get this strong, like with equipment. I should say not weights, we have weights, but with equipment, and I didn't get this strong.
Mm.
So that just says a lot. Like, and then we do so much cardio. I went, I was trying to get, we'll get into this, but like this getting more social. I joined a run club and I was like, "Ah, I can't really run." I kept up. It wasn't like a fast, pro pace, but I haven't ran in years. And we do so much cardio in the classes. I could keep up. Like I've been running for a while. Like it shows a lot where it's like I think I'm still mind blown that I was able to accomplish this month's fitness from home. Like I think that's still it's shocking to me. I can't tell you how long I've been trying to do a pull up, a push up. And you're like, I'm like, nah, it's only been 6 months. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, ooh, how am I gonna look in a year? What am I gonna be able to do in a year? What am I gonna and yeah, it's from home with my weights, with the class, and also like the form. I think I mentioned this earlier. I was concerned about like, oh, well, no, but as long as you can see, and the class sizes, I'm always shocked how you guys are able to like, come on, Jackie, get some weights. Like when if it's too easy, like, come on now, get some weights, right? Make sure that chest touch first. Like every time, like I don't think there's been a time where I've slipped up or like I was like, and you like you guys catch it so quickly, and it really sometimes feels like it's just like a personal training session, even though we're in the class. So yeah,
I tell
it's cool.
people we're like a crazy ex-girlfriend, but for fitness and nutrition. We on your ass. I think, because you didn't come in with like weight loss goals. You've definitely seen weight loss, you've seen, toning up, but I think you're a testament, you're proof, Jackie, that it's not about the building, it's not about the equipment, it's about consistency,
Mhm.
and I think it's about community. Can you talk a little bit about what the community is like participating in a virtual gym?
Oh, the community at the gym is amazing. It's fun because I always tell people this, like I'm an introvert, and they're like, "You what?" And then I don't. Oh, I'll be open with this. When my first class, I joined my first class, and it was like, okay, we're getting into groups to talk, and like, here's the question of the day. I was like, ugh, come on, I didn't come here for this. Came here to work out, and I was just like, hey, my name's Jackie, and like the energy of everyone is just was so cool and invite reminded me of like the gym when I joined originally with that community where it's like, oh, we're kind of like a team. Even though we're all working our own personal goals, it feels like we're in a team. And you get to know each other with those. Even it's I know it's like I think you give us like what 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes by and they're like, wait, no, we're still going. Like we're still like, okay, guys, let's chit chat. You gotta get to the workout. But it's so funny how like we'll pump each other up. Like we'll it's different. That's the other thing is you can't get at other gyms. I mean like it's not the same. Like it's just like you have your family, your gym family, like the people who are like, oh, you met your goal. I remember when I did a pull up, I got hit up like so many people were like, yeah, that's right. Like were cheering me on. Um it's again, I was not expecting that from to have a community in a virtual gym. Like I really I was not expecting any of that. Like And I'm honestly closer to the people in this version of the gym than I was the previous one.
Wow.
And it's because, like, we have, like, I think so. In the original, you would come in, we have the little moments to chat, but it wasn't like organized. It was just like, oh, hey, you always come on Monday. I see, hey. And this is like, it's different because it's like we have that moment before class to connect. And it also gets us away from, like, because a lot of us work from home, a lot of us are coming from work. And sometimes work sucks. Like, sometimes, and like, we have that moment to kind of like disconnect from that. And
Hmm.
and we're all in it. We have a goal to, like, all right, guys, let's get through that workout. um and we have our credit and we connect. And a lot of times, like, since we have similar backgrounds, we all are on this queer community together. We have, like, so much in common. Sometimes we're different and sometimes we're very much the same, and it's like I feel very, like, close to the people that are at the gym. And it's funny, now I'm one of the people that are like, hey, I complete when I first joined. Oh my, I hated it so much. It, like, forced me, but I didn't realize it was, like, forcing me to, like, disconnect from work. It's gym time. It's time to, like, get it going. And
Yeah.
so that aspect, which I also think it helped me be a little bit more social in real life.
Mm.
It was like baby steps. It's like, okay, connect with people virtually. Now do it in real life, which I honestly had issues. Like, I just would have someone self doubt, like, oh, they're gonna judge me. I gotta sit, like, my hair is weird. And then talking to, like, at least three people. So it's like maybe every week there's, like, a new person, new face or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like never no judgment. And so that kind of brings up the confidence to, like, talk to people.
Mm.
Like, even doing this, like, I have a speech impediment. Like, I don't know if you know this. Like, I took speech therapy from kinder all the way to 11th grade. And so I don't really like talking. Like, and so
No clue.
it like forced me to get out of my box. And so, yeah, the community is one of the biggest aspects that I mentioned about this gym. And I was like, you have a gym family. And you can do it anywhere.
And it's almost like because every gym, oh, the community, like I moved to Salt Lake not long ago and I'm trying to build community here and I've joined gyms specifically for community and sometimes I feel like I'm tooting my own horn or I'm being biased, but I'm like, y'all need to go to the queer gym to figure out how to fuck build community. Cause y'all, but the thing is like that's what they all talk about.
Hmm.
Oh, the community here, everyone's so cool, but I'm like, I've been going to your gym for 3 months and like no one says shit to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, yeah, they have a, like, community. You have your people that are, like, there often, but it's like you're not really connecting
Yeah.
like how we connect at the gym.
Yeah.
And so we notice when people are out, like, it's like, hey, where you been? It's like, oh, I've had a little injury. Like, I've had gyms where I've, hurt an ankle, and nobody noticed. It's like, you were gone for like, yeah, I
Yeah,
was.
I was gone for a minute. No one gave a fuck. Got it. Yeah. No, I think the community is a huge part in the consistency of it because, if you find something that you like doing and then you find the people that you enjoy doing it with, it's no longer a chore you have to do.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, I get to like hang out with a bunch of cool queers and I guess I'll do some burpees while we're there. Like, fine. If I have to sprinkle in those burpees, I'll do it. I don't care. Okay, so you came in for fitness goals, we crushed them, and then we ended up moving on to finances.
Yes,
So
yes.
how did we get there? Why did you want to go there, and what happened?
So I was felt like I was hitting my fitness goals, but there was, like, moments where I would, like, fall off of those goals. And we sat and had a conversation, and you're like, hey, what are things stressing you? Like, what's keeping you from, like, hitting these goals sometimes? And I mentioned, I was like, finance. Like, I need, and you're like, hey, do you have a budget? And I was like, no. And you're like, well, have you looked at it? And I was like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it. And I'm gonna be honest, when I so regretted bringing that up, like, at the time, because I was like, oh, I don't want to go over finance. Just, like, let's work on, like, let's talk about protein. Like, I don't want to do this. And you had the chart, and I looked at it, and surprisingly, it wasn't as bad as I thought. right? But it was not great, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. And I was like, I think it's a common theme at this gym when I say, yeah, damn, I should have just done this earlier. Why didn't I just like, and this is the thing, I was not expecting at this gym, and this is where I was like, I'm like, this is a better version. Because it's like, it's not only working on your body, but becoming a better version of yourself. Because I was like, that was not something I thought I would get fixed or something I would like, the adulting part. Like I was not expecting to like clean house literally too with this program. I was not expecting to clean my finances. I literally just saw, okay, you're gonna get fit and then the rest will follow. I don't know how, but it's, let me just get fit. And yeah, no, I was not expecting to come up with a program to get my finances buff as well. I was only expecting to get physically, I didn't think my finances were gonna get fit with me. So
That's liner right there, bro.
like that is crazy. I knew this program was different when I was like cleaning up and like removing things I didn't need. The challenge, was it? I'm like brain for it right
Environment
now.
challenge.
Yes, environment. Like when it was like, yeah, one item, then two items, and I was like, oh, I have a lot of space here. I found a fish tank that I bought years ago, and I was like, what's a fish tank doing here? Um, yeah, no, this was different. This is like, I'm like, yeah, no, I literally was just expecting the fitness part of it. I was not expecting, and when you're like, what's different? Why this gym? And it's like, this is the reason. And this is, so I could say the best. I feel like it's even like to call it a gym is like it's more gym plus. I the coaching is amazing. Like it's not only, and I really mean it when I was like, I feel like you care when you're like, hey, what happened this day? You kind of like you check in. And I remember at one point I was like, I want to say for like a good 3 weeks, I was like, good. And then I fell off a little bit. And you send me a message like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, because I'm like, there's a bunch of us. How are you watching? Just what? And I was like, yeah, kind of stressed. My social life sucks. And you're like, hey, when we have our call, let's connect and talk about it. And that's how the finances came up. And
Mm.
then we set up some other goals about like, getting social, getting out there. You got to go outside to make friends.
Yeah. So, what were some of the financial wins we hit?
Oh, savings. Oh, cleared out one of my credit cards that was like I was using some apps to, save some money. You're like, why don't you just use that money that you saved and your Acorn to pay off this card? Do you know it's like you're actually not saving because the interest on this credit card? And I was just like, yeah, why don't I do that? And it was so funny where it's like it was like I bet it's like someone here like you could have done that yourself. It's like, yeah, if I could have, I would have done that, right? It's like no, it's like I needed a coach. I needed that push to
Yeah.
go like, hey, look at this. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense, does it? And now I have a plan. Like I have a budget, like an adult. Like I
Like an
have
adult. How about that shit?
where I'm like, okay, I know. And it's so insane where I'm like, it used to bother me so much. It's like, oh, do I have enough? And it's like, why didn't I just put it in a budget? Why did I just break this down? And
Yeah.
see, I found out I had like two Hulu accounts. And I
Mhm.
was like, wait, why am I being charged for Hulu twice?
Yeah. Yeah.
That, yeah.
So you went from 12,000 in debt.
So, yeah.
So from 12 to 7,000, 0% interest on that debt. That was the other big
Hmm.
part. You went from what, 320 in savings to 1,200 in savings.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your career.
Yeah. My career. Oof, that's been an other journey. It's funny because I'm gonna go a little backwards. You probably don't remember this conversation we had at the gym in like 2020, where I was just like, hey, I had my dream job. I thought I had my dream job, but I hate it. I'm so drained and tired. Like I'm like, I'm not good. And you're like, what's keeping you? Like, why? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm like the pay. You're like, if is it really paying you if you're like miserable? And I was like, it sat with me for a while. And then it's funny, I didn't make that choice. It made the choice for me. And I'm gonna be honest, it sucked not like being laid off, but it also was like freeing because I didn't realize how much that job was impacting me,
Yeah.
like how unhappy I was. And so, like, man, this sucks. And I was like, had to kind of figure out what I wanted, and then I found something that like was similar, and but like without all the stress. But I was like, man, do I? And I think when I rejoined the gym, everything was good, and I was like, okay, what else isn't good? I was like, well, do I really like my job? I was like, sometimes it's stressful. It can get really stressful, and you're like, hey, go out and talk to some friends that you like look up to that has the like I was like, oh, I was thinking about going back into engineering, software engineering. My job is technical right now, but it's not software engineering. And I met with two software engineer friends, and I realized that my job's amazing and I don't want to leave. It's like, oh, I forgot to mention. So I used to write goals, like write things like this is my dream job, and I would write it constantly and like this is what I want. And I found that book. And this is it's almost spot on to like pay, to like the flexibility, to the and it's funny because I think I would have made a very bad decision, and I it wasn't talking to friends wouldn't be something I would do on my own. To go like, oh, talk to an engineering buddy, see how it is on the other side. And yeah, it's cool, but they don't have the flexibility I have.
Yeah.
And honestly, they were like, "Hey, what are you doing? Yeah, let's. You got openings? Do you have some openings over there?" I was like, yeah. You know what? I was like, I'm just being emo. I think a lot of the times there were things I need to fix. And in this case, I think it was like I was just being a little emo, a little bit. Like there was a few changes at work, and me and change, I get so anxious with any sort of change. Even like I think that was why I waited so long with the gym too, which is like I got anxious that first call, and I was just like, okay, if you weren't checking in and being like, hey, ready to jump into your first class, I think I probably would have like canceled. Who knows how many times before I actually like jumped in.
Yeah. So
But
so when we got talking about your career, you found a new appreciation, realized the grass is greener where it's at. You just need to
yeah,
sometimes.
definitely found a new appreciation for my job and like the stability and the flexibility it provides me. Um,
Wow.
I didn't realize that.
So keep in mind, you've been with me again for 6 months,
It
and
feels like 2 years.
we got
Years.
swole. We got your money right. We got your career right. And literally, we were like, what's next? So we talked. So what came up next for us, Jackie?
What came up next? Are you talking about the social life? Yes. Okay. You know how that came up. You're like, what do you do? And I was like, nothing. And you're like, no, for seriously, what do you I was like, I don't have a social life. I was like, my best friend moved to Texas. It's like, yeah, talk to him sometimes, sometimes take walks with my neighbor. But don't really have a so you're like, okay. You're like, what can we do to change that? And I was like, you're like, and you came up with a list, like, what do you want to do? And I think we had like swimming that end up we're pushed that because it's like the Oakland pool, they're going through their own changes. And it was like running group. And I was like, you know what? I used to run as a kid. I did like Students Run LA. There was community there. Like, let me do the running club. And in that running club, I met folks that rock climb because I was mentioning like, oh, I kind of want to get into that, and I met someone that rock climbs off like pro, good at it, and I started joining them one day, which I normally would not take an invitation. It's like, hey, let's go rock climb, like socializing, yuck. I want friends, but I don't want to socialize.
I'm friends, but I
Uh,
don't want to hang out with people.
I just want to hang out with people. I don't want to. And I got there, and there was like three other people that also was trying to learn how to rock climb. And yeah, those became my like weekend friends. Those became like not even weekend, like those became my friends. Like just like that, I had a social life because I went outside. Because you're like, dude, you have to go outside to
Yeah.
make
I
friends.
was like, you can't just like most adults just work and then go home and veg.
That's what I was doing. Well, I was walking. I had my, I was going out, but I wasn't like, yeah, no, I wasn't.
And that's why I'm like, okay, y'all need hobbies. Like the reason, part of the reason you're sedentary is because you don't do shit that's not on your phone or on a
Mhm.
screen or on the couch. Like, when we were kids, we have hobbies. We're in little leagues, we join teams, we're in band. And then as an adult, we
Don't do
just
any of that.
survive after work till the next day we got to clock back in. So when I was like, hey, your money's right, you're fucking strong now, you're in shape, like your house is all spot clean, like what do you do with all this free time you have now? And you're like, nothing. I was like, we gotta fix that shit.
I literally said nothing. I was like,
I also want to talk about the fact that we've gone through all of this in 6 months.
yeah,
Now, I usually talk that it takes somebody, depending on like how much, if they have a lot of weight to lose or a lot of medications, depending on where their starting point. But I would say the average person that I work with has about 40 pounds to lose. There's debt, there's stress, there's time management issues. So typically, the average timeline I give folks is about 18 months. So to hear you completely change your fitness, your finances, your career, your social life in only 6 months, first of all, is badass. Second of all, I want to tell you why I think it happened so fast. One, clearly, right, you didn't have to lose like a shit ton of weight and like
mhm,
blah, blah, blah. Two, you had already done a previous round and you maintained a big chunk of that, which was the nutrition.
yeah,
But three, the only way to really speed things up is by how well you comply with the shit you got to do on your end. Because if I tell you, yo, you got to clean your house and it takes you 6 months to clean your fucking house, it's gonna slow down your progress. So the fact that we have a call and then right away you start implementing, making the calls, making the moves to make things happen is a big reason why you've seen such a crazy transformation in such a little bit amount of time. So I just want to give you your flowers in that because I can only empower you. I can't make you be a healthy homo. You got to put in the work. And that's something definitely that you do really well. You don't miss a coaching call. You show up prepared. After the coaching call, you implement the shit we talk about right away, and you're consistent.
I wasn't. I'm glad you don't remember me back then too much because I think also there might be delay with some people because you have to build trust. I already trusted you when I before I joined
That's
again.
true. That's
I already had trust. Like it was already there. So it was no like, oh, son, like, no arguing. It was, I worked with this person before and the changes I saw was amazing. So it was really easy to kind of like jump back in. That's why it's like when we have a plan, I just like implement it.
yeah, yeah. Well, if my final question for you, if you could send a message to old Jackie, what would you tell old Jackie?
Trust the program. Like just listen. Like it's going to be okay. Like they I think when I joined originally, it wasn't like I wasn't crazy. It wasn't bad, but it was hard. It was like, well, why should I listen to you? I don't know about that. You want me to do what? Um, yeah, trust the program. This, I can only say that, like, trust the program, believe in yourself.
Mm,
Um, I'm gonna be honest. When I first joined, I think you guys believed in me more than I believed in myself. Like that's just a fact, just a plain fact. Because I was not in a good place. So very depressed, very low self esteem, and I though what happened. I don't think I would have been able to get through the quarantine to that pandemic if I didn't have the tools that you implemented for me before. Like if I never went to the gym and I went through that, I don't know, man. Like I really I don't know.
mm. Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, congrats on becoming a happy, healthy homo.
thank you. And I always, I think I mentioned this before, but I don't think I could have gone to this point without this program, like at all. So it's funny. I'm pretty sure someone here like, oh, that sounds easy. Then why aren't most people doing it?
That part, that part. High five, bro. Crushing it. All right. Well, thanks, Jackie, for sharing your story. And I am sure that the next thing for you is people that watch this, you're going to become a fitness inspo.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Actually, I did this interview with Kim yesterday. and they shared that they met somebody in the breakout room during the workout that was like, "Hey, I joined because of your story."
Oh, wow.
So, that's the cool thing about getting your shit together is that it inevitably inspires other people to do the same.
Yeah, this is programs more about it's fitness is an aspect, but it's like becoming the best you. So yeah, if you want to become the best you, yeah, you're gonna get the muscles and you're gonna become mentally healthier, possibly financially healthier, social life a lot better. So yeah, it's crazy. Was not expecting that when I rejoined at all.
More and more I've been hearing that. They're like, I thought this was a fitness and nutrition program. I'm like, so did I, but you got other shit we got fixed. So go for it. And that's organically how I started coaching time and money and all these things. Because I was like, okay, well, it's the time, money, stress that's impacting your ability to self-care. So like we have to address the root problem.
Hmm.
So that's work because it's vulnerable to look at your finances. It's vulnerable to like look at where you're really at sometimes and then change it. And you've done all of those things in all of those areas in only 6 months.
It was hard. Like it's funny, I did it, but it was like I was anxious about it.
I
But hey,
know, but you
we're
did
here now. So I'm
it.
excited about the next 6 months.
Woo, let's go. Let's go. All right, Jackie. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
All right.